and welcome to today's presentation. In the last presentation, we talked about raising capital and the various forms of capital, which may be equity or debt capital. And we looked at what investors would typically, check for, look out for in a startup business. Today, we're going to be focusing on a growing business and what investors would typically like to see before they put their money in a growing business. Follow me through as we go into this round of presentation. Thank you. Companies in the growth stage, to a large extent, have proven their value proposition and established a customer base compared to a startup who is just entering the market. Now, investors at this stage may be certain about their returns on investments or even just have an idea of what the potential returns on investments would be compared to a startup. Now, let's look at what investors will typically look at in a growing business. The very first is the size of the total addressable market of the product or service. The next is the economies of scale. You want to look at the company to see if it has achieved economies of scale. If it has not, how long will it take for it to achieve this, economies of scale? Another factor that investors would like to look at is corporate governance. You look at the board of directors, the composition of the board of directors and the management team. What is the structure like within an organization? Does it follow the typical corporate governance standards? Yeah. The next is the ability to generate more revenue within the business. Moving on, investors would also look at the growth prospect of the business, the future of the business itself in relation to competition. They would also look at the advantage or the competitive advantage of the business, as well as the cash flows of the business. There are main factors, but these are just a few that we are focused on in this presentation. I hope this presentation has been very informative. I hope you have learned one or two things with respect to what investors would be looking out for in a growing business. In the next presentation, we're going to be focusing on debt capital and what lenders, if it's an equity, you'll be talking about investors, but if you are looking at debt, you're going to be talking about lenders. So we're going to look at what a lender would typically want to see in a business. What are the kind of information that they would require before they give you a facility or before they even invest in your business in the form of debt capital. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for listening and do have a great one.